Hey guys, today I wanted to do a video on a new silencer I got. This is the Energetic Armament Ferox, and it took me 15 days to get it through the new, well not new, but much sped up E4 process. So here it is. Let's open it up. So this is the box it comes in, and once you open it up, you get your instructions, which is very important. It has all the torque specs that you'll need to torque both your end cap and also your mounting system. And inside comes with the silencer, obviously with a direct red mount, a packet of anti-seize, a nice tool for both your end cap and the mount, and a vice block to stick your silencer in here and stick it into a vise so you could remove the end cap, remove the mount, install a new mount and end cap, and torque it to spec. And I just want to point out something about the tool right here. So they're not the only company that does this. Other companies include a tool, but what the tools typically lack is a little hole right here for the torque wrench. So the instructions say to torque it to a specific foot-pound or inch-pound. And you can't really do that unless you have a way of connecting this tool to a torque wrench. So I did point this out to Energetic Armament, and they were very receptive to my comment and said that the next iteration of tools will have that little hole for a torque wrench. So that was very cool. I wish other manufacturers were more responsive to comments. Okay, so the silencer itself comes with a 556 direct red mounting system, and on the threads they have already applied some anti-seize, and their instructions say to apply some anti-seize to both I believe the mount and the end cap, and torque it to spec per instructions. And I'm not going to do that because I have a Silencerco ASR mount that I'll be using with this silencer. So what I'm going to do is remove the anti-seize with some alcohol, dry it off, and apply Roxette to make the mount more of a permanent fixture to the silencer. And I'm going to do the same thing for the end cap because as you may already know, if you shoot with the silencer, your gun's going to get really hot, and without Roxette, everything's going to come loose and unthread itself. So it's a good idea to use some Roxette to make your mount more of a permanent fixture. And if I want to take it off, I could just soak it in some water or run it through an ultrasonic, and I can undo the Roxette and take everything off. So it's not a big deal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, remove the anti-seize on here, and check alignment with my rifle barrel. Okay, the alignment test was good. The alignment rod was in the center and everything looked aligned and good to go. So the next step is to apply some Roxette on these threads of the mount and also on the threads of the end cap. And I cleaned the threads really well with some alcohol and dried it off. So these are ready to go. And I got my tool to tighten things down. I don't have a way to use a torque wrench to torque it down to spec, but I'm going to just use my hand and tighten it down as snug as possible. So I'm going to attach the mount first. So you don't need a lot, you just need like one drop. Okay. And I am going to attach it to the thread right here. Okay, same thing for the end cap, just need a drop. Okay, and I'm going to tighten it down, give it one good turn. Okay, that feels snug. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my Silencerco mount tool and tighten this down as well. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back and I brought my Silencerco tool with me, and this is the tool you use to tighten down or undo your ASR mount. And again, there's no hole in here to torque it down to spec. Silencerco does tell you to torque it down to a specific spec, so in the future I hope that they fix this. But I'm gonna just go ahead and tighten this down with my hands. And it's pretty tight. It's not going anywhere, so I think I'm all set. I'm gonna let the rock set cure for about 24 hours, and I'm gonna check alignment again as well, and we should be good. So as part of the curing process, I forgot to do one thing. So the rock set that I was using says on the instruction that you want to heat the object for 10 minutes at 250 degrees. So I got this little pen right here covered in foil, and I'm going to put it in the oven for about 10 minutes. Alright, so it has been 24 hours and I'm checking the alignment again to make sure that everything stayed in place. And as you can see with the alignment rod, everything is centered, so we're good to go. And the next thing I did was to take it out to the range. I tested this on two uppers, a 16-inch Daniel Defense upper and a Noveske 14.5 upper. And I wanted to check out what the overall accuracy was with the can on, see if there was a point of impact shift. I wanted to just listen out for the tone. Every silencer sounds a little different, so wanted to check that out. And I wanted to check how bad the blowback would be, whether this can makes the gun overgassed or not. And I also did a quick comparison with another can I have, which is the Silencerco Specwar 556K, and see if there was a noticeable difference. I got this target right here that I shot at 25 yards, and I wanted to just point out a couple groups. So this grouping is with the can off and on, and you can see right here that the groupings are fairly close to each other, so I'm going to say there isn't much of a point of impact shift. And there's another group right here with the same thing. Again, pretty close. I could have gotten them tighter, but I was shooting the rifle pretty fast, so unfortunately it is not as tight as the other group, but still within the circle right here that I circled. So unsuppressed, suppressed, very little point of impact shift. And just a couple other groups that I shot with the can on. Here's one right here, another one here, and this was one just big group right here. And I did shoot group with this Silencerco Specwar 556K just to see what the comparison was. So nothing too crazy here, nothing too significant to note. The rifle was pretty accurate. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about was the tone. So the best way to just show you what the tone was to show you the video that I took of the cans in comparison. The comparison between this one and the Specwar 556K. Alright, so the next thing I tested was the blowback from this can, and I compared it against a Silencerco 556K, and I wanted to see what effects this can has on the gas system of your rifle. So on the Noveske 14.5, this can and the Silencerco can had similar performance, with the brass being ejected at the 2 o'clock pattern with no noticeable difference in the amount of gas coming back to you. And on the 16-inch Daniel Defense rifle, it had a different result. So this can produced a consistent ejection pattern at the 5 o'clock direction with no noticeable increase in the gas coming back to your face. And I just want to point out that it was also throwing that brass pretty far, about 20 feet. And compared to the Silencerco 556K can, it did perform better because it was more consistent, because the Silencerco can was throwing out brass more erratically and not in a consistent direction. So this can did help produce a more consistent ejection pattern. And I know this can is advertised as a low blowback can, but I'm not sure if that is the case. Well, in my personal experience, testing it on the 2 uppers. The Silencerco can that I have is almost 10 years old, and it was not advertised as a low blowback can. And since the performance was similar on my Noveske 14.5, I can't really make the call on whether this is truly a low blowback can. So you may have different results, but that's what I saw. Do I recommend this can? For $550, I do, because you get decent enough performance out of it, and it is hub compatible, so you can use your ASR mount, your chemo mount, and not have to buy a whole set of muzzle devices. And I think this can would be good for someone who never had a silencer and want to get into the silencer game and not have to spend a lot of money. So I think for the price, the value is there. However, if you're truly concerned about blowback and want a flow-through can, I'm not sure if this can would be the right choice. Although it is advertised as a low blowback can, I think you would get more performance out of something like Huxworks or any other company that produces true flow-through cans. But if you want a can that is going to work and give you reliable performance, this is your can. So I do recommend it as an entry point can, or if you're on a budget and you want a can that produces good enough performance. Alright, if you like this video, give me a like. Thank you. Bye.